History is filled with people who have come back from the dead, and I know it's Good Friday, so you're all thinking about one in particular, but here are some other examples. After a major car crash in 2007, Carlos Camacho was declared dead. It wasn't until the coroner started the autopsy, cutting into his face, saw him bleeding, actively bleeding, like, okay, this person's still alive, that's weird, started stitching him up. Carlos regained consciousness and said, yeah, I had to come back because the pain was just unbearable. There was a Scottish monk named Oran in the 6th century, right? And he was like, hey, bury me alive. And everybody went along with it, and 3 days later, they dug him back up, and he was still alive. And he said, there is no great wonder in death, nor is hell what it has been described. And when they were pulling him out, the head monk was like, nah, bury him back up again. In 1996, a woman in her 80s was found sprawled on the floor in her apartment, and the paramedics pronounced her dead. About 90 minutes later, though, they noticed that the body bag was moving, so they got her out and were like, oh my god, you're alive, only for her to die like a week later. Also in 1996, a 3-year-old Lebanese boy had his leg blown off in an Israeli attack and was pronounced dead. He was placed in the morgue freezer, and then later, attendants found him alive in there, and he later said, I'm the boy who died and then came back to life. This was my destiny. 100 years earlier, in 1896, a bunch of mourners went to go pay their respect to the Greek Orthodox bishop. I can't pronounce his name, but they went there, and he had been laying there for 2 days. They were prepping him for his burial when he suddenly just sat up and said, what are y'all looking at? In the 16th century, there was a young man named Matthew Wall who died, and the pallbearers were taking him to his final resting place when one of them tripped and stumbled on a rock and dropped the coffin. This woke Matthew up, and he went on to live a very full and long life, only though he did die years later on the same exact day of his first death. In 1650, there was this woman named Anne Green who was convicted of killing her illegitimate newborn baby when really it had just died at stillbirth, but they hung her for this. She was hanged, her body was transported to Oxford University where they were gonna just study it, right? When she regained consciousness and the students helped revive her, she went on to live a very happy life and have many more children. There are plenty of real-world examples of this happening with tons of evidence, right? Then the reasons for it happening could differ, but yeah, let me know if you want any more.